What's going on, everyone? Welcome to another edition of Blinkers Off. Let people get joined here. There you go.
Yep.
A little bit of audio.
We're just we're doing a little start to the show here. All right.
Yep. The big kind of a calm before the storm, as we call it this week, because it doesn't feel quite like Derby season.
No,
it does and it doesn't. But we are a week away from this time next week. We'll be officially previewing and giving our picks for the Kentucky Derby and Kentucky Oaks. But this week we thought, we would give a little bit of insight on where we're thinking, how we're building the guide and kind of what we're coming up with right now, what angles we're kind of looking at, that kind of thing. And of course, we do have some decent racing going on this weekend at Saratoga and Del Mar. Of course, some Breeders' Cup win your ends. You got Charlestown Classic tomorrow on Friday. So the racing still continues on, and we have a lot to talk about from last weekend as well.
Yeah, we do. It's big. It's a kind of a loaded show. The next couple of shows are going to be loaded. We got a lot of content, right? We've got this show. We got a live show this weekend. Then another big show next weekend, and of course another live show. We just found out we're going to be on Sirius from 4 to 5 Central on Saturday, and then again from 6:30 to 7. So we're going to do a little previewing of the Derby, I'm guessing, and then a recap, kind of like we did with the Belmont. So that's going to be fun. Yeah, it's like I said, it doesn't feel like Derby week yet, but it kind of does in that regard, right? We're starting to get our ducks in a row, I guess is the best way to put it.
Yeah, it'll be fun too, because the last time we did that with Mad Dog, it was before the Belmont, and that's when we were on there and basically saying, back up the truck on Tis the Law, whatever you're willing to unload on, do it. And of course, made us look really good. And so here we are. Not much has changed seemingly since the Belmont, and it had Travers within that. And I'm still probably going to be on there saying, listen, he's going to win.
Well, it's interesting because on that show after the Belmont, I said, don't worry about the Travers. He's got that in the bag. And I'm worried about Honor AP and the Kentucky Derby. And then I don't know about that anymore either. So, yeah.
Well, we'll get into it. So let's it's like everyone's kind of joining on here. So let's just go ahead and let it rip. All right, 3, 2, 1. What is up? I'm Jared Welch. He's Aaron Halterman. This is Blinkers Off. What's up, man?
It's funny because when we do these live shows, I never know when the podcast is going or the live show. So I'm always on. I never know.
I wish that we had another camera behind us here because it's like so many things happening in front of us. Yeah. We have 2 mics today, one on the computer, one on my computer. I'm recording the pod for the show you guys listen to on iTunes or whatever. This is what I'm recording on. The live stream is on Halterman's computer, so we kind of double teaming this here, and it's always a kind of a fiasco. But
insert joke here.
Yeah. Welcome
the first time.
Welcome to another edition of Blinkers Off, and we were just talking about it. We are live on the stream with Facebook, with Twitter, and YouTube. So if you're listening to this after the fact, go make sure you go subscribe to any of those channels so you get alerted when we are going to do these live. And of course, we'll be live next week, same time ish. We're a little more fluid with our timing than the Magic Mike show, but we'll be live and we'll be talking the official Kentucky Derby picks and of course the Oaks picks. But this week we thought we'd kind of. We're already wrapped up in this. Obviously, we're well into the guide and kind of working that. We got all the details, but so our brains are already in Derby mode. So we thought, well, let's just get on the pod. Yep. Let's talk a little bit where we're at, what we're thinking, kind of where we're leaning, those kind of things, and then of course we'll kind of finalize it next week. But it does have a weird feel to it because it's almost like the build-up's not quite there. like your normal,
Yeah, well, I think it's just odd to have Saratoga that everybody and Del Mar that everybody likes to focus on, and then it's like, yeah, you still get this looming Kentucky Derby thing, and it's going to take away the last week of those meets. It's just kind of weird, But listen, it's almost here, and I think that's the best news of all, because it's been a long road to this Derby. Well, I never want it to be this long again, to be honest with you.
I mean, when I put it in the guide, I put in, like, it was kind of funny to see, like, we literally been talking about these horses for a year.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you think about it, a year ago, these horses were running as 2-year-olds, and we've been talking about these horses since. So it's literally been a year in the making to get to this point.
Well, and it's been a year, and then we're gonna right into the next one.
Yeah.
So really, Derby never ends until May of 2021. Hopefully, they run it in May. 2020.
That's the plan, I think.
Yeah,
well,
God.
Who knows?
Don't
even throw that out there.
No.
Yeah, the Iroquois is on Derby Day.
Yeah.
So you're gonna have the Iroquois on the undercard. So.
That's kind of cool. I think I like that.
Yeah, I do too.
But, I think it's going to be. I think Churchill Downs is going to have a crazy good 2 days. Like I don't think those days are going to be any less than what we're used to seeing. I think it's going to hurt the other tracks that have big days during that time period. Do
you think the eventual, like, whoever wins the Iroquois could finish on the board in the Kentucky Derby? Like underneath, like I feel like underneath these horses are so bad.
That would be amazing if he won on Derby Day and Derby Day. Yeah.
No, I'm saying the same day. Like run them against these horses. Oh. Like, do you think that that's how bad these horses are in our, outside of it?
I don't want to go there.
Okay, we'll talk a little bit about some of these.
Michael's already ready, man.
Swiss Scott, he's been waiting. Swiss Scott Tiz $50 double. I mean, there's worse bets for sure.
Yep.
And if you feel like that's kind of the way this year's Derby Oaks season feels, where you have to really validate your opinion. If you have an opinion, you got to hit it strong, because it does seem very, Swiss Scott over Gamine, and then obviously Tiz Law. And if it's not Tiz Law, then it probably is honor AP or payouts for that kind of thing. You need to really hammer. So, I don't think that's necessarily a bad. Let's before we talk Derby, because I feel like this pod is going to go because we're just going to open this up on the live feed. I think it's going to be fun for the people listening to this after the fact to get these questions kind of as they come in. Yeah, we have some questions, obviously, kind of talk about that. But before we get into Derby, let's talk a little bit about what we saw last weekend. Maxim Security. So Maxim Security now moves up to number 1 now in the at least in the Breeders' Cup rankings, surpasses Tiz the Law, that's an interesting debate there and alone. But he comes and he does his thing, wins the Pacific Classic. He runs his best career buyer that's going 2 turns. I mean, it didn't necessarily look super flashy, but it was actually pretty impressive, if you ask me.
It was a race. He got the lead, and he went wire to wire, and he beat horses he's supposed to beat. I mean,
didn't learn anything.
No.
We kind of knew that going into it, though. We kind of thought that he had more to lose and prove.
Yeah. Here's the deal, and I said it after San Diego, and I'll say it again after the Pacific Classic. He's supposed to win the race, sure, but it's still hard to win races at Del Mar. It's hard to win the Pacific Classic. I don't care what. So he won, and that's good, but he just hasn't had to beat anybody of any caliber whatsoever. Yeah. He beat Sharp Samurai was second in the race and making his dirt debut. I think he ran maybe once, like 3 years ago on the dirt. But yeah, he beat a turf horse. Midcourt was just a ridiculous ride. He wasn't going to win anyway, but just they rode to hit the board. I mean, higher power, horrible. I mean, they're just bad horses that he beat. He did win. He did win rather easily. It wasn't close. So yeah, give him credit. But what did we learn? Not much. He's at the same opinion now as 2 weeks ago on him.
I kind of feel like I saw someone tweet this out because the 2 things right now that you can guarantee can get a bunch of traction on Twitter is whether or not Swiss Skyver is running in the Derby or the Oaks, which we'll talk about that coming up, or Maxim Security just in general. Yeah. And so after he won, I tweeted out basically, how do we feel about him now? Or something, just something basic where I knew it'd get a lot of attention. Right. It obviously blew up. Yeah. And someone said something like he's one of those horses that just if he runs against a grade 3, he's going to win by 2. If he runs in a grade 1 against the best horses in the world, he's going to win by 2. Like he just kind of is that horse.
I buy that.
I think I agree. Like he almost just does what he needs to do. He's very gutty. He has a lot of heart. He tries hard, and like so it's one of those that makes it really hard for us to kind of get a feel for how good he really is. You know, when it comes to moving forward, like how is he? How would he do it when he faces Tizelaw, Tom Tietot, or whatever? Yeah,
I can't argue with that because that's kind of how he is. Like you said, he just wins by how much he needs to win by. I mean, I think maybe Samik said it best on the live show. It's like he's a defensive use for sure in the Breeders' Cup. You don't want to get beat by him.
Certainly not. No.
But if he's going to be a shorter price, I think there's better horses to take. A couple at least. So we'll see. But and again, we might get one more prep. Baffert said something about going to Belmont, and I think we would learn a little bit more.
Yeah.
If he goes to the Awesome again at Santa Anita,
it seems surprising they would go.
I don't see any way he's going
instead
to
of the Awesome. Yeah, why would you not stay home?
I don't know the answer to that, but if he goes to the Awesome again, you're going to face the same horses. So I don't really know what you're going to find out.
Unless that's why, like he wants to get some kind of a tough.
Yeah, maybe get an actual race into him. Yeah, that's possible. I don't know, but he's definitely one of the top contenders, if not the top right now.
I found it funny that all the especially after the San Diego, you have what is he back? Is he's regressed, and then he comes with Baffert in the second start, and he runs his career high buyer, going 2 turns.
Yeah,
so
career high buyer. I guess that's something that that was a good buyer.
I was surprised by the 107. But I mean he's usually a horse that runs like a 101, 102. In these 2 turn races, he did run a little better, higher buyers going the 1 turn.
Yeah.
But still,
Cigar Mile, I think maybe was his best before this.
Maybe like a 111 or something. Today, but
pretty huge.
I mean, he and again, we don't have a buyer for what the Saudi Cup came back as. That was probably pretty high as well. But still, like a 107 to run, it seemingly didn't look like that. But like I said, he just does what he needs to do. All right.
Yep.
Actually, the number 1 star this week was Rushing Fall.
Yeah.
And this is probably the race of the day for sure.
Mm-hmm.
This horse, and Magic pointed this out on the website. Listen to this. The Turf Rocket, which is AKA Rushing Fall, has turned into one of the most accomplished horses in racing history. Is the second horse joining Beholder to ever win at least one American Grade 1 race at ages 2, 3, 4, and 5. Like, think about that. Grade 1 races 4 years in a row for this horse. Obviously a Hall of Famer.
Maybe as good as ever right now. That's the thing.
She really is. I think she might be.
Yeah, they've been really, really good.
Mean Mary, take nothing away from her. She ran awesome, and really had you kind of wondering, okay, she's not going to get there.
Yeah.
But Rushing Fall, she just adapts. She's one of those that can go right to the lead. She can sit off of it like she did with Mean Mary, which I thought was interesting because Castellano's like, I was gonna go. That was the plan, to go to the lead.
Yeah,
and then Mean Mary, she's like, you didn't act like you was gonna do anything but go to the lead, so I just backed her off, and
it ended up being a perfect trip.
Yeah.
That's all. It's always perfect if you catch them, but if she doesn't catch them, you're like, why didn't you put her closer? It ended up working out just fine for her. So that horse is just special.
So she obviously is in the best form of her life.
By far. Yeah.
Who's not, though, is Sister Charlie, and who ran in that race as well.
Sister Charlie's got some issues.
And frankly, Sister Charlie and Uni, both horses, we talked about this on the pod. That was a big kind of talking point last week where it was like, are we really both going to go against Uni and Sister Charlie are going to run the same weekend, and we're both not picking them? And by the way, we both picked them for like 3 years in a row.
Yeah, but it worked out.
They both lose. Both of them don't get close, by the way. So are they done? I mean, Chad seems just dead set on Breeders' Cup is still the plan for Sister Charlie. I thought in a turf course and whatever is just not to their liking at Saratoga.
I thought between the two, if you're going to analyze, they both weren't very good. But I think Sister Charlie showed a little more than Uni was like nowhere to be found, and that's twice in a row where Uni was just like, where was she?
Yeah,
Sister Charlie, she's involved. She's in the race. You see her back there. She does make up some ground, but she just is not. She doesn't look the same at all. Yeah, I mean, both of them really disappointing. And I hate to say it, but I don't know. I really don't know if these two horses will ever win again. It's hard to say they're going to after these, and it's not Sister Charlie, sure, lose to Rushing Fall, lose to Mary, that's not so bad, but she wasn't even ever close. Yeah. There was no doubt one of those two were going to win, and she was third and barely got third and was way back.
You just have to go back and look at last year's Diana. Look at when Uni won the Breeders' Cup. Got Stormy ran pretty good. Like those moves just don't exist right now with these horses, and that's not what we're used to seeing.
No, it's not.
And we talked about why we were kind of playing against them, because you don't typically see them this out of form for that long. Like usually it might take, if it does take a race, that's it. But it just seems like it's taken longer. And clearly, they're going to be tough. They're going to be, if they continue to run and they don't retire, they're going to be tough, because obviously you'll want to play them.
Yeah.
And they can make you look really stupid because we know their talent is there, or at least it was there. But obviously, the amazing part about the 4-star Dave, Halliday, by the way, looked pretty good. Wire to wire for Todd Pletcher. But was the fact that Chad Brown has 9? There was 9 horses in the race.
There were 8 in the race. He has
4, and they finished.
Maybe 9.
They finished all off the board. I think it was 8 through 5 through 8.
Yeah, they were.
Talk about nowhere to be found.
So I will say, for the 4-star Dave, that was all those races got rained off, and it was a pop-up shower.
We talked about this a little bit on the live show. There's really not a lot to go off of that race.
I would draw a line through that race completely. I'm not sure I would play Halliday, I guess, say back off that race.
Yeah,
I really don't, and it takes nothing away from the horse. He dug down deep and won that race, but really nobody closed in that race at all.
No.
And he had it kind of his own way as well. I don't know. I kind of draw a line through that race completely. But Chad Brown not even hitting the board with 4 horses in a turf race, Saratoga, that's almost unheard of.
It's 99 to 1 odds. If you say a grade 1 turf Saratoga, he has 4 of the, basically say half of the field.
Yep.
You would take whatever odds you would give me.
If you bet that super, which is basically the same as taking no Chad Browns in the top 4, you got more than 99 to 1. So,
no shit.
So, yeah.
You just would have ever thought. But no, it was a crazy weekend for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. When it comes to whether it be Rushing Fall, maximum security horses that are obviously going to make a name or make something to as far as moving forward the Breeders' Cup. And then the other flip side is Uni and Sister Charlie, and it's what do you do with these horses who are, Breeders' Cup caliber type horses? So, so definitely something interesting as we move forward into the Breeders' Cup. But before we get into anything else, what's the best thing you saw today?
All right, I'm going to switch gears on us a little bit here. I got this book, all right? And I'm not a reader. I'm going to show it to the people. Let's go up. Let's do that. It's called The Vapors, okay? And this guy, David Hill, who was a long ago fan, one of the OG fans of the website.
Definitely one of the OGs. We weren't cool at all whenever he
No. And a guy I consider, he probably, I don't know if he knows who we are anymore, but a guy I consider a friend, I think he's a really good guy. He wrote a book about hot springs in the 30s, 40s, 50s, and 60s called The Vapors. Holy hell.
Is it good?
It is one of the best books I've ever read. Now, I'm only about a third of the way through it because I just got it 3 days ago. Man, I don't like to read. I really don't like to read. This book, The Vapors, buy it. It's unbelievable. It's about the mob.
It definitely, people don't understand what went down though at Hot Springs.
So I'm not gonna talk because this is all this is a true story. And it's about the people that were involved in it and their stories and how it came to be. So gambling was illegal all across the country except for Nevada. But in Arkansas, the deal was it's illegal, but each county will enforce it. The state government is not going to enforce it. It's up to each county. And so there was all kinds of corruption to get the right leaders in Hot Springs so they wouldn't they were openly casinos all down the main strip there on Central Avenue. Illegal, and they wouldn't shut them down. So anyway, that's the premise of it. There's all kinds of twists and turns. Like I said, I think I'm in the the 50s now, so I've still got a good portion of it to go. It's a great book.
He's one of those guys that I feel like no matter if it was at Hot Springs or I think we ran into one at the Belmont one year.
Yeah,
remember up in the wasn't like in the press.
Yeah, I think that's a lot. At the Justify Belmont is
Yeah.
the last time we talked to David. He's such a nice guy too.
We were up there,
Yeah.
and he was like the only one that thought, because we were up there getting in trouble talking too much, and he's like, oh, who cares?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
but yeah, he's a good guy.
Yeah.
Can I borrow that?
After I'm done, you can for sure. And I what I've done, I've just like I don't really have time to read. I don't really like to read. I just set aside like 30 minutes a day and read it. It's really, really good. He's done a good. I'll tweet that out and shout him out too, because he really deserves it. He's done a great job. He's wrote some horse racing stuff. I think maybe America's Best Racing may have had a couple columns for him. He's a great writer. But anyway, check out The Vapors. Really good book.
I didn't know you could read, so that's exciting.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
that you can read a book even.
Yeah, I mean, and it's
it's pretty thick too.
It's kind of a thick book, right?
How big are the words? They're pretty big.
No.
This is serious.
Pretty small words.
All
yeah.
right, The Vapors.
The Vapors.
David Hill. So
really good book.
Go check that out.
Yeah.
All right. Best thing I saw today. This one, I at first it was going to be, it's almost a tie. Okay, so I woke up this morning to seeing. I'm gonna change it. I woke up this morning seeing that McPeak had used the derby silks or the saddle cloth for Swiss Skydiver this morning, and it was kind of funny knowing that we had something to do with that from a tweet that we sent out yesterday, or I sent out yesterday. And it was, again, I'm very good at stirring the pot,
right?
And I just posted a picture of her in her oak silk or her oak's saddle cloth, and said basically which one should she run in, and I didn't say one or the other, just kind of let it happen, and it took off. And McPeak ended up commenting and kind of threw out the gauntlet a little bit as far as where he's going to run. Mm-hmm. And it was funny. The next day, this morning, he has her in the derby silks, almost just trolling everybody.
Yeah,
which I thought was pretty funny.
That's funny.
But I can't. It's an annual thing. I cannot let this go on without mentioning the annual "Why We Hate Your Derby Pick" article this year.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, pretty much wrote itself. It had to have. You wrote it with magic adding to it, I guess we should say.
Yeah.
And it never fails to make me laugh. And this year, because I just hate every horse anyways in it pretty much.
Yeah. So
it makes it that much funnier. Let me read you some of my favorites, okay? So I'll read a few. So this is on racingdudes.com. It's the funniest thing you'll read related to the Derby, because again, it's all in good fun. But it basically takes every single horse and throws something about what they so Authentic was pretty good. He couldn't get a mile and a quarter with 4 rockets up his butt. I like that one. Dr. Post made me laugh out loud.
This is my favorite one.
Is he going to finish the Haskell Stakes in time to run this race? Asking for a friend. I love that one.
I can take credit that Magic didn't change anything on that one.
That was all you.
Yeah.
Boy, what was it? There's one more that I really liked. Could this horse be the Necker Island? He couldn't win this on his own island.
Yeah, that Magic added that line. That was a good line. Yeah, Magic did a good job on this.
Winning impression was funny. He couldn't even hit the board impression.
That was a Magic
races. Yeah,
Magic did a good job.
Very good. Money Moves was maybe the top. Perfect topping to it all. Can you imagine being so bad that you actually want to run this race and still can't? That's his current situation.
My favorite one was Max Player, because it was true.
Yeah,
you want to read it?
Max Player, his original trainer, Linda Rice, basically said that he needed a 2-month nap after the Travers because he was so damn tired. His owner's solution: send it to someone who's willing to force his butt to the derby stall. That's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off. Yeah, that's classic.
I like that one too. Yeah.
What was the one? Who was it? The one with snake venom?
Yeah, that was Magic. He added that for Soli Volante. There's not enough snake venom to make up that kind of ground or something. Yeah, that was a good one.
There's not enough cobra venom in the world to keep them up. Yeah, so you have to go check that out. It's hilarious. It's a good read. But yeah, never ceases to fail. And just if you need help finding the article, just look for the one with the donkey.
Yeah,
This is literally Donkey. I didn't even know we had that picture, to be honest, and I saw it this morning. So
right. Yeah, I didn't either.
Maybe
So, and I don't know why we have that, but
I don't know. Magic probably found that in his arsenal. All right, let's get to the main event here. I know people want to talk Derby and Oaks.
Yeah.
So, all right, today's show, we're going to take a look at the Kentucky Derby and Kentucky Oaks fields, and then we're going to give rapid fire selections from the major stakes action around the country, including the Sword Dancer Stakes at Saratoga. It's a Breeders' Cup Winter and Challenge Series event for the Longines Turf. Let's go.
yeah, Magic, he did a hell of a job on that.
It's funny how like you can just, I know, obviously I know your style long enough. I know Magic's style long enough. So when I was reading through it, I was like, this has a feel. I could tell that Magic had some pieces to that even before I saw you did.
He replaced all, like, if I said ass, he put butt. And for some reason, it was funnier. I don't know why. It's funnier. I don't know.
The ice cream part was really good, too, because that was like a little local, twist that I think people liked.
I was super proud of him. I thought it was his best, yeah, for sure.
Boy. All right, yeah, so let's talk a little Kentucky Derby. And Donkey Photo was in a public domain. It's free to use, apparently.
Oh.
So he just texted us that.
Okay.
So,
all right.
yeah, so we'll talk a little bit Derby, a little bit Oaks. And just kind of, if you have questions, just feel free to ask anything while we're doing this, Derby and Oaks related.
Yep.
We'll answer them. So, just get a feel for kind of the field and what we're thinking and kind of how we're sort of, you've already started your kind of handicapping process and how you're kind of looking at the race. And obviously the pace, Slim's got the pace standpoint and how that's kind of seemingly shaping up. And that's always a big deal when it comes to the Derby. We have the new gate this year. That's interesting. Tidbit there for the starting. How much does it affect the start? So yeah, there's a lot to talk about here. So let's do it.
Should I pull something up here?
Yeah, there you go. Pull up
like this one.
Yeah, just pull up that.
Okay. Let's see if I remember how to do this.
Just go to share screen.
Oh, yeah.
See, he's handling the
share.
He's handling the
there. That's cool.
There you go.
What if we did that? Nope, don't like that.
Don't
like that. All right, there we go. What about the whole there?
There you go. If you don't want to see us, that's fine.
Yeah.
All right.
Is Slim going to write his? Yes, he will have the pace thesis.
Oh yeah, dude, award-winning
pace
thesis as well. Yeah. So he's going to have a section on or he's going to have the pace thesis, of course, and then he's going to also have a article in the guide as well. I think he's going to do the exotics. It's like how he's going to play the exotics in the Derby. So that'll be interesting as well because we don't even know how he's going to play that.
Yeah.
Who knows, right?
Yeah, he's got a lot going on, and he definitely will be all over it like usual.
All right. 3, 2, 1. We're just a little over a week away from Kentucky Derby 146. And, in the Oaks, obviously the day before, and obviously the main event being the Kentucky Derby, 'Tis the Law, coming in as seemingly going to be one of the strongest favorites we've ever seen in the Kentucky Derby. Mm-hmm. And obviously it's a year unlike any other Derby we've ever seen. So, there's a lot of new things this year, and it kind of feels like it's a one-horse show, so to speak. And so we're going to kind of, as we're handicapping this, we're in the early process of handicapping with a week away, kind of just go through this and kind of analyze what our brains are thinking right now and how we're kind of approaching the race, and at some questions we can just kind of like what we would do when we're normally talking, like when we're handicapping a race, like, hey, what do you think of this? Or how are you feeling about that? Just basically how we're talking about the race. So obviously it starts and ends with 'Tis the Law. So the biggest question is, what does it take for him to lose?
Well, I think it's just going to take him not showing up. Our good friend Ryan Stillman and I were texting last night, and he was kind of, going over some situations where maybe he's not that good, or maybe, somebody can beat him. And really, it's just like we kind of both decided, look, if he shows up, all this that we're talking about it's obsolete. It won't matter. He's better than the rest of these horses. So he's just going to show up with his race. That's all he's got to do. And if he doesn't, I don't think he can regress a ton and win, but he probably could a smidge and still win. So, what's it going to take for him to get beat? Him to not show up, or him to just get a horrendous trip, get caught, get stuck, get inside horses, can't get through, stuff like that.
It's going to have to be I feel like a factor of several things, whether it be he draws a bad post, he has a bad break, he gets, gets tucked back, and all of a sudden, to be in a situation that he's not been in yet. Because frankly, he has been like a robot in every race, but you just basically Photoshop him into any race that he's ran this year, and it's about the same look and the same feel. So for basically, if Manny falls off, that's what he gets beat. That's what it feels like a little bit.
It does,
the way I look at this race is I hate doing it, but in a year like anything else, I'm more looking at the next race. Okay, how can he get beat in the Preakness? Because there's just nothing. I guess it could take like an art collector, because I still feel like art collector is getting better. Maybe honor AP, but think about these other horses that aren't named those. Yeah. Like, it's going to take a massive improvement for anyone to take him down. Yeah. As well as him. I mean, if he runs his race, then I don't care if art collector sprouts wings, they're just not going to beat him.
Yeah. My problem with art collector is he just kind of does the same thing every time. And I just don't, he just seems to be just lower on the buyers, whether it's buyers or time form, or what you look at, he's just a couple steps lower than him, and it's like, how are you going to turn that corner, if he shows up in the same race? So it's really tough. Honor AP, I think, is kind of that one. I don't know what the word quite is, the mystery horse, or maybe just the most intriguing. It's like, he looks like he could be better than what he was last time out. And we know his trainer really, is a guy that's going to point for big races like that. So maybe he's kind of the one that beats him, but really you're kind of just making up things at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's going to, 'tis the law.
Because frankly, there's just not been anything that, any chinks that we've found yet in his armor where you're like, well, things went perfect for him there, or that if something happens, he's a very smart horse. He's able to kind of sit off the pace and let the race unfold around him, and kind of just does his thing down the stretch, and never obviously seems like distance is anywhere in doubt. And so you're like, what's it going to take for an honor AP or whoever to run him down? And it's just like you say, it's going to take him to not show up. Are y'all singling him on top in the verticals? I mean, I think you have to. I
would single him in the super for sure, because I think you're going to want to go deep. I think in the try, I'm going to, and I haven't decided on the other horse to use yet, but I'm going to use him in one other one, just in case something weird happens. Because I don't think you need, like most times in the Derby, I feel like I've got to go pretty deep in the tries, but I really don't think that's the case this year, especially in the second spot. And then maybe you can go deep in the third spot, so you can get away with maybe using one more horse on top. And then if that horse somehow beats him, then all of a sudden you've got a good payout. But yeah, like the supers, you're probably going to have to single him on top. I mean, and I think the key to the Derby is, what will his price to win be? Because a lot of times in the Derby, if you like the favorite, the best thing to do is to bet that horse to win, because his odds are a lot higher, like Justify, like American Pharaoh, like a Nyquist. His odds, their odds, and then Tisalaw's odds, if he kind of follows in that kind of footstep, they're better than what they should be.
That's what I was just about to say. Is like, what if you're sitting there staring 5-2, down.
Oh, if you're bet the world, if you're betting 5-2,
and you're like sitting there trying to say, okay, well, I love him, but then like, how do I play this try or whatever? And you're like, wait, we'll just stop thinking it that way and just pound the shit out of him on top, because why mess around with who has to get second and third? Because let's be honest, it's probably a more than good chance that Honor AP and Art Collector, one of those two, don't show up at all.
Yeah.
And so someone crazy is going to come up under second and third, and or don't worry about it. Just pound, When Justify was sitting there at 5-2 or whatever, I bet a lot on him to win.
Yeah,
because
and that's
he was 5-2.
Yeah, exactly.
And I didn't have to worry about who came in underneath. And
No.
so, but to me, that's the way you look at this race. As long as if he's sitting there under 2-1 or something, then I think you got to be careful.
So 2 points that just came in on the comments. Will he run on the Churchill surface? I don't think that'll be a problem. But here is a thing: if it's sloppy, that is a question mark for him. I think, people will look at that Churchill loss and say, well, maybe he doesn't like Churchill. There was a lot of things that happened in that race. He just didn't run very well. He was inside horses, which that could be a factor for sure. But I don't think it was the surface per se. But rain, that could be a factor. Maybe he hates the slop.
That could be the one.
Yeah, we don't know.
That we don't know. Yeah.
And it rains all the time in Kentucky on Kentucky Derby Day, although this is a lot different. This is not the first Saturday of May, so we'll see. But yeah, that could definitely play a factor. No
okay, so you mentioned, for another question, you mentioned playing a horse that maybe with him on top, and you haven't decided yet, so maybe you don't know. But
yeah,
the question would be like, who are you most interested in right now besides Tiz the Law, Honor AP, and Art Collector? Like, is there anyone that is kind of starting to kind of trend up a little bit for you, and you're thinking, okay, maybe this is a horse I might throw in on top just in case?
So I'm circling horses 4 and 5 here on our chart, which is King Guillermo and Caracaro. King Guillermo, I think, is going to be the way overhyped horse, so that's one I'm not going to use. And I think a lot of people, they're going to be their answer. Yeah. Not for me. Give me Caracaro. I really think this horse is pretty good. And I think if he runs the same race he ran in the Travers, I think he's got a shot to hit the board here at a decent price. That's one I'm definitely going to use. And I think like a horse like NY Traffic, if everybody kind of just says the hell with it, I think he could get third. I don't think he can hit the exacta, but I think he can get third. So those are the two kind of off the wall horses I'm looking at. A lot of these other horses, I kind of think you can throw them out. I really don't think you're going to see something like dumb, like normal, because I just think they're bad. Yeah. I think the cream's going to rise to the top.
And we have a lot of deep closers.
Yeah, and I don't think
that just never pans out, especially when you're talking about shitty horses against good horses like Art Collector and Tiz the Law. Honor AP shouldn't be as far back.
No.
I think 1,000 Words could make a little. I'd rather play 1,000 Words than Authentic. I'll put it that way.
1,000 Words is sneaky because he will get the distance. It's just, is he any good?
Like, can he clunk up for third? I think he probably could.
Or could he get out and hold on for third because the closers behind him suck?
Exactly. Yeah.
So yeah, I definitely think he's one. King Guillermo has been off too long. I totally agree. And
I'll tell you what though. And this is why you're saying this and why he's going to take a lot of attention.
Oh, he's the wise guy horse.
He's a wise guy horse. He looks awesome on the track. Every time he's on the track, they're raving about how good he looks and what he's doing. And you name it, like this horse is going to get a ton, and the fact that, last time, and oh, by the way, he got second last time we saw him to Nadal. Nadal is, all world and would have won this race, whatever. So it's like, but it's like, why did you wait? It's been literally, I think, as you said on the Why We Hate Your, like, I don't think COVID was a thing the last time.
He won.
He won a race. And I think that's a fair way to say it.
Right?
So I mean, how do you even know what he's going to do?
I have no idea what that horse will do, but I don't think, I guess I should put it, I know one thing I don't think he'll do, and that's win the race.
That is for damn sure.
Yeah.
I think he's a toss too. Okay, so this is a question I actually have not asked you, and I am personally interested to know, because you and I have both had some heavy opinions coming into the Kentucky Derby in years past.
Yeah.
So how does your confidence in Tiz the Law compare to, say, those years with American Pharoah or Justify? Two of our biggest win bets of our lives were on American Pharoah and Justify in the Kentucky Derbies, nonetheless. So where do you stand? Like, how does Tiz the Law's confidence rating compare to those years?
I'd say I'm second most confident out of all. Pharoah, I was the most confident, and then I would say Tiz the Law second and Justify third. The only reason with Justify, really lightly raced and had to beat that Curse of Apollo. That was kind of enough to be like, yeah, he could go out there and throw a clunker, and I'm not going to be shocked.
And about halfway through the race, you thought, this is not going to work.
I've lost a ton of money, and this is going to be really bad. And somehow he held on.
Well, we know how, but
he was a little scarier. But I don't know if I'll ever be as confident as I was in that American Pharoah Derby. Like that, I'd already written that off. It's like, okay, how can we win the Belmont? Like I had the first 2 races already won for American Pharoah. So I couldn't say that I'm Tiz the Law's like I'm at that confidence level, but I'm pretty confident for a number of factors. He's damn good, and these other horses have just not shown that they are.
Yeah, I mean, I'd probably put it that AP is definitely the one. I mean, he was the one I felt most confident in. Yeah. Which is funny. It was his worst race probably of his career, but he was Justify was. I would probably put Tiz. I just don't see how Tiz the Law, frankly, is going to lose. I just don't.
Justify had a lot of competition, I thought, that year, too, that could beat him, where Tiz the Law just doesn't. I mean, Pharoah had a good competition, too.
Yeah.
But better than Justify, even. But I just was that confident. But Tiz the Law, yeah.
But, I mean, obviously, with Justify, it was, like, out of nowhere, like, just hadn't done anything. Like, of course, Chris Apollo, like you mentioned. I mean, there's a lot of stuff going against him, despite how good he looked, whereas Tiz Law has got the foundation, and he's been running, and he's been winning. And he's, you know what I mean? He prepped at a mile and a quarter, which is just unheard of, obviously, going into the Kentucky Derby.
Yeah.
Anything else as far as like the way you're looking at the Derby? I guess when it comes to the multis, which is a good segue into kind of the undercard, but when it comes to the multis, I mean, do you think the strategy here is to try to get the prices in those races and get to this race with Tiz the Law and maybe, whether it be Caro if you want a prize, or even, if you want to just chalk out and go Tiz the Law, our collector on AP here, and then play crazy in the other legs?
I think you just go Tiz the Law, and then you look for maybe one more, and that's it. And then just try to go deep and hope to get prices in those other legs. Not knowing what those are right now, but I mean that seems like the strategy going into it, right? Because I just don't see the point in wasting a lot of money going deep in this race and getting the favorite. If you're going to play against Tiz the Law, you might as well just leave him completely out of it, and then go somewhere and just pray that he loses. But no, for me, the logical thing is let's play Tiz the Law, single him in some spots, and then other spots let's sprinkle in another horse there.
Yeah. All right. So the undercard is it's still a work in progress, obviously, but there's 6 or 7 stakes races on the day, 6 undercard races for the Kentucky Derby. I'll just kind of go through at least what the latest we have on who's going to be running. So you have the $1 million Old Forester Bourbon Turf Classic. It's a grade 1. Bowie's Hero, Digital Age, Factor This, Mr. Dumas, Parkland, Sacred Life, Some Like a Hot Brown, and Spectacular Jim are lining up for that one. And just stop me if any of these sound interesting to you.
Haven't stopped you.
You got the Derby City Distaff. This actually will be a pretty good race. You got Bell's the One, Mia Mischief, Sally's Curl, and Serengeti Empress, Wildwood's Beauty, CC, and Lady Kate. So you get CC and Serengeti Empress in there, Mia Mischief. The Distaff, the Turf Mile Distaff, Bo Recall, Belle Laura, Daddy the Legend, Juliet Foxtrot, Newspaper Record. So she's going to make her return there for Chad Brown to see if she can do it be like a rushing fall. Those two seem like the two Chad Browns these days. And she's on a warpath. The American Turf is Fancy Liquor, Field Pass, King Theo, Mr. Big News, Smooth Like It's Straight, Sungai, and Fancy, and South Bend. The Pat Day Mile. So this is an interesting one.
Yeah, let's hear this one.
The Pat Day Miles obviously got some of the horses that were on the Derby Trail at one point. Echo Town, Liam's Pride, Shusha Shake Me Up, Sonneman. Possibles are Attachment Rate, Rushy. So Rushy obviously is in the Kentucky Derby at this point. South Bend and Tayshawn.
Attachment Rate is definitely going to the Kentucky Derby. They announced today.
So there you go.
Out. Yeah.
I'd say the Pat Day sounds a little weaker than I would like.
Usually the Pat Day is 12, 14 horses, and it's wild.
It's a $500,000 race too. And the Iroquois. So this is the Derby prep, right? Yeah. And it's also a Breeders' Cup juvenile prep. So you've got Belfonte, Drop Anchor, Pico D'Oro, Sitting on Go, Super Stock, The Ride of a Lifetime, and Ultimate Budget. or Badger.
Ultimate Badger.
Yeah, that's a great name for Romans, of course. So,
right, yeah.
So, I mean, where you don't necessarily have those to me sound like good betting races.
Yeah.
You know, they're very wide open. You don't have, other than newspaper record, which might be a single on that undercard. On Friday, you do have some decent, like in the Al Sheba, you got By My Standards, Hints, McKenzie, Owendale, Silver Dust, Tyler Reddy. That's a pretty good field there.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to look at some of these decent ones here. I believe you've got isn't Monomoy Girl running?
Yeah, Monomoy Girl's on Friday in the La Troyenne.
Yeah,
you had it. There it is.
Yeah, you got Monomoy Girl. She's a Julie. CC's possible for that one. Lady Kate and Vexatious.
Yeah, that'd be pretty good.
If you got Vexatious, Monomoy Girl, and she's a Julie, it'd be all right. So,
yeah, that Ali Sheba will be good.
But yeah, the 2 days of racing are obviously going to be really good. And so as we go to the Oaks, obviously Oaks Day, you've got Gamine and Swiss Skydiver. So whereas on Saturday, it seems like Tiz Law and then everyone else. On here, you basically have to make your decision. Yeah, what's it going to be between Gamine and Swiss Skydiver? Yeah. Because you really look at this field, and that's I mean, as we look there on the 12 there, that's it. You know, you're not looking at much. You know, you and I, the way you can kind of really look at this, you're probably down to it's probably going to be close to about an 8-horse field for the Kentucky Oaks. But really, like it doesn't, like you and I said, like it doesn't matter because you're going to have Swiss Skydiver, Speech, and Gamine. Yeah, I mean, so really, just between those
3-horse race there, no doubt about it. I think like She Dares the Devil will try, but I don't think she can hang with those. Bonnie South can't hang with those. So yeah, it's a 3-horse race. This is going to be a very, very difficult decision for me because playing Speech is getting more and more intriguing by the day for me because I just feel like, man, that's going to blow up if she wins. And it's not like unrealistic that she's going to. But then you've got Gamine out there, and it's like, how can I go against that horse? And then there's Swiss Skydiver, and it's like, well, how can you go against that horse? So it's going to be a really – I think that's a 3-horse race, and I'll be down to the wire picking a favorite there. Or not a favorite, a winner there, who I'm going to pick to win. There's a decision to be made there. That's not going to be easy.
Who do you think is going to go off – you think Gamine will go off the favorite?
I do, yeah.
Which is pretty amazing if you think about what Swiss Skydiver has done. Not second to Art Collector, who, by the way, will be a shorter price in the Kentucky Derby. Right. Obviously dominating horse all year, Swiss Skydiver for most of the year, and yet she won't be the favorite going into the race.
I don't see how that's possible, but I think it's going to be.
I really do, yeah.
Gamine is just like so impressive, in those races, and the people bet buyers, and that's going to be like just a huge thing. You're gonna look at those buyers and go, yeah, she's gonna win.
And it wouldn't be absolutely crazy to see if it came in as like a Speech Art Collector double. Something like that. And that's gonna pay. Yeah. But like you're gonna have like that to me, you'd look back at that and be like, well, that wasn't that unlikely. Yeah. And yet it would pay a lot more than say, Gamine and Tiz Law. So right. So one interesting part of this is obviously Gamine and Swiss Skydivers are they going to be the two heavy hitters here? Does either filly pose a real threat to Tiz Law? So we're talking about moving forward, because we did the same thing with American Pharaoh, and obviously that year was Belmont. This year's last leg is a Preakness, which, by the way, is also now a Breeders' Cup challenge race to entice horses to run in the race, which actually makes it a little more interesting. Does either filly pose a threat to Tiz Law, like a real threat in the Preakness?
Yes. Either one. I think the winner definitely does.
You really do believe?
Yes, I think they can beat him.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I do.
I was interested. I didn't know that you would think that.
If Gamine wins the mile and 8th Kentucky Oaks and does it fairly easily, I think she will beat him. How about that?
If she does it easily?
Yeah, like if she proves that she can stretch her speed out to a mile and 1/8 and win, she doesn't have to win. She's not going to win in similar fashion as these last two races. But wins pretty convincingly. I think she can beat him in the Preakness. I don't necessarily think Swiss Skydiver can match up with him stride for stride. So if Gamine fades and Swiss Skydiver wins this race, is she a threat? Yeah. She's definitely a threat, but can she beat him? I don't think so.
I love that McPeak has already called out Gamine for ducking him.
Right. Yeah.
And then also has already basically called out and said, listen, we're going to the Preakness.
Yeah.
Like, that's the plan. Go to the Preakness after this so we can face Tis the Law.
I mean, they're thinking
that's the plan.
He's really, really confident that this horse is going to win the Oaks, it sounds like. So, and if she does, yeah, I mean, it would be crazy. If she wins the Oaks, you look at her whole body of work, you look at, how she smoked them in the Alabama, and then she came back and she won the Oaks. She's definitely the most dangerous threat to end the Triple Crown for Tis the Law if he was to win. So,
and I think also there's a huge part of this year's order is that you do run into a Preakness where usually, like we've talked about this before with the Belmont, it's like that's a whole other monster in itself because you have to get the 1.5 mile distance, whereas the Preakness is definitely the most normal, quote unquote, normal race for these horses. So you don't have that like looming factor of the distance necessarily.
Yeah.
So you kind of have a more even field, whereas we always say the best horse usually wins the Preakness. It's kind of the perfect setup in a sense because now you're going to get the best horse likely out of the Kentucky Derby and the best horse whoever wins the Oaks, and then you're going to see who's best.
I'll tell you this: if Tis the Law wins the Derby and Gamine loses the Oaks, I think Tis the Law will be the Preakness pick. But if Gamine wins the Oaks,
if Gamine carries that speed, then yeah,
I'm going to pick her to win the Preakness. It's just how it's going to be.
Because you also have to think if they're running her there, whichever filly that is, they have to think that, especially if Tis the Law were to continue to do what he's doing. Like, well, shit, they obviously think they got a chance to beat him. So
the Preakness has a chance to be better than the Derby.
Oh, for sure.
If these fillies come through and run in that race. If not, then it's not going to be worse than the Derby, but it'll be okay.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Oh, do we have a question? Oh.
Yeah. To Creed or Happy Saver has a huge chance to end the Triple Crown. Thoughts on that?
No.
Creed and Happy Saver
they have zero chance to win the Preakness.
Two horses that are going to be running in the Jim Dandy, right, on Derby Day.
As of now, yeah.
As of now.
Yep.
And so obviously two very well thought of horses, but they haven't faced anything yet. Running the Jim Dandy, obviously the thoughts would be Jim Dandy to the Preakness. That would be the goal there, but. That's a huge leap. I guess if they go out, the only way I would ever get there is to say that if one of those horses absolutely romps in the Jim Dandy and turns into a freak.
Neither one of those horses are good enough, period.
Not to beat Tis the Law.
No. Now, if Tis the Law was to lose the Preakness and he loses the Derby and he skips the Preakness and all of a sudden these horses are in it, yeah, I think they've got a shot, but they're not the same. They're not the same caliber as Tis the Law.
What would be amazing to see though is if you had a Creed or Happy Saver, one of those dominate the Jim Dandy. Come in with that.
That'd be cool. Yeah, it'd be great.
And then obviously what we're hoping happens with the Oaks and Derby happen. And then you come into this Preakness just absolutely loaded with kind of storylines.
I think that'd be amazing. And I personally really like Creed a lot, but I don't think he's that kind.
Is there, what is it? They said the Preakness it's a classic, right?
Yeah.
Classic winning you're in now.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that would be interesting to see how many horses that attracts that wouldn't necessarily.
I bet they get a full field. I bet they get 12.
You got to think where else would, especially for a 3-year-old, where would they want, because they'd rather not face olders.
Right.
Of course, if Tis the Law's in the race, especially if Tis the Law's not in it, then all of a sudden that race becomes absolutely loaded.
You might get 20.
Yeah, with horses trying to get an entry into the Breeders' Cup Classic who aren't having to face Tis the Law.
Right.
All right. So obviously next week, go to the website, racenews.com, or the products page. Go get the guide, release the preview guide, and you'll be the first to get the full guide. We've got content from Samich and the Soma Bombs. We've got stuff from Slim doing his article. Of course, Ricky's got Ricky's Rockets on there. We're going to have consistent picks from all the team at racenews.com. Articles of all 7 stakes on Saturday, the Oaks on Friday. There's probably more, but there's a lot of information. It's always the biggest guide we do every year. Yeah. And we've already started working on that. So if you want the full detailed analysis of the Oaks and the Derby, go check that out. Until next week, we'll be talking more and give our final picks for the Oaks and the Derby.
All right. I will switch us. Let me go to Equibase now. And
there you go.
Type in, let's see, what race are we going to first? Damn, Andy.
We're going to do the Charlestown Classic.
Charlestown Classic first, folks.
An oldie.
There it is. Get Dennis off there. There we go.
Do you guys want to see us on screen or not? Do you like seeing us or not?
Yeah, because we can take this crap off.
Yeah, or we can just do it this way.
Yeah.
And you can see a little bit of us. I mean, I know people like to look at Halterman, but wasn't for sure. Let me pull up the PPs here. This race is trash, by the way.
Well, it depends on how you look at it.
One man's trash
is another man's treasure.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you could make it a good betting race, I suppose, but who actually wants to win here is what I'd like to know.
Well, this is a race. Somebody has to win the race. We just have to find out who that somebody is. Somebody has to win the Charlestown Classic. Okay. I'm glad they're running the race this year, though. I was worried they would not.
Yeah, I definitely did not. In the year of this shit, I definitely did not assume that we would be seeing this race.
No.
But that was.
Who says he wants to see this? Let's just stop the share. There you go.
Yeah.
There
you know, you guys got the fields.
Yeah, Dennis. You know what's going on. All right.
No, look at that. That's pretty.
What's that?
Our faces.
Oh, yeah. They are pretty.
All right.
Of course. I hate my pick in this race.
I do too.
Before we get on air,
we're going to do Charlestown Classic, the Lake George on Friday. We're going to do the Paddle Brine on Saturday, the Forgo, and the Sword Dancer on Saturday at Saratoga. So, 5 races on rapid fire here. So,
I'm trying to get this positioned where I can see the comments and.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to see us. So.
Let's just do this. There we go.
Perfect.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, this.
As always, ask away.
Yep.
If you got questions, comments on these, let us know. All right. Three, 2, 1. Time for rapid fire, presented by the Racing Dudes Inside Track to the 2020 Kentucky Derby Wagering Guide. Pre-sale has begun on an all-inclusive wagering guide for the 2020 Kentucky Derby at Churchill Downs on September 5th. Features in-depth analysis of all 8 stakes races, plus bonus race-by-race analysis and betting suggestions for the entire Kentucky Derby card. But that's not all. Get expert analysis from award-winning handicapper Mike Saratoga Slim Spectre and Mike Somobong Samach exclusive Ricky's Rockets, bonus Kentucky Oaks analysis, and top 4 consensus picks from the entire Racing Dudes team. Subscribe to Racing Dudes Premium. Get this wagering guide absolutely free. Now available for pre-sale on the products page at racingdudes.com. So make sure you go check that out on the website. All right, we're going to start on Friday. We got 2 races to talk about on Friday. We're going to start at one of the only times this track shows up on Rapid Fire, and that's Charlestown. Race 11 on Friday, the Charlestown Classic Stakes Grade 2, where $600,000 for 3-year-olds and up, 1.18 miles. The field of 10 lines up for this one, and it is a doozy. Challenging, to say it lightly. Tough to read. Obviously not the greatest caliber of horses running here either. Math Wizard, that's right. I said Math Wizard is your 3-1 morning line favorite of the race, but I mean it's got all the horses tenfold. You've got the last year's winner, Run Into You Love Ya, 12-1. Matt Meister Money, Sleepy Eyes Todd. You got Pluku Parfait, War Story, the old knocking War Story in the race, and Multiplier is in here as well. So horses that have been running seemingly forever. Where are you going?
Yeah, this race is the Boulevard of Broken Dreams. My goodness, when I look over this, it's like holy hell, what is going on right now?
What happened to your guys' lives?
I hate my pick here, but this is a race. If you want to analyze it, you could do it all night, right? And still just be as confused as ever. I went with number 10 Multiplier on top, and I've never picked.
I bet you never thought you'd pick this horse again, did you?
I've never picked this horse. Period. Again, would be miss. I can't even talk
misleading,
right now.
I think
misleading.
I think you never picked this horse ever.
I don't think so. I looked at this horse's dirt races and was like, well, they're probably good enough to win here. Gets Armando Boca Chica to ride, which is actually a huge factor. Get this, you can't ship into Charlestown, right? So like the local jocks are riding these races.
Yeah.
Well, Boca Chica is easily the best one there. So I thought that was a great sign that Miller got him to ride. I kind of think Multiplier is going to win this race. I like the outside post actually for this race. There's a lot of just clunkers in here, and you don't want to be near them. So just get the outside and you run your own little race. Don't get they're bad influences over there to the inside. So yeah, I picked Multiplier. He was close to winning the Santa Anita Handicap. He was close to beating Axeman, which I think Axeman's a pretty decent horse. Tom Zata, he was within 8 of him. That's not bad.
He was on the track with him. That's nice.
I'm gonna go Multiplier on top.
It was always good. You're like, well, my horse ran on the same track as Tom Zata, so that's really why I like it.
But
they rubbed each other. And
the thing is, it's like Math Wizard. I can't choke him down. Mr. Money's just been awful. I mean, I just didn't know where else to go.
Listen, I'm with you, and I actually went with almost like. My theory here was like, well, maybe because it's finally his time and no one else is in the race, War Story can finally win the race.
I think that's a good pick.
Listen, he's still running. That's what's crazy. He's 8 years old. He's still running. He's ran in this race seemingly he's like a staple. Like he'll be like 15 years old, and War Story will still run in this race.
Yeah,
and he'll probably still finish third too.
Yeah,
that's what he does. Last time we saw this horse, by the way, finished third. Yeah. To Mucho Gusto, Mr. Freeze, which not all that bad. It wasn't like an awful third either. I mean, he ran pretty well in the Pegasus. That was in the Pegasus World Cup. His horses ran back to back, basically 100 buyers. Ran 100, and then he ran a 99 in the Pegasus. So I mean, the horse is seemingly still running at a decent level. In a year that is, at Charlestown, he's had 3 starts. He's got 1 second and 2 thirds. So he's always running. He always runs well here, so he knows the track. He can win at this distance. To me, it's almost like, okay, as a vote of like a salute to you, it's like, okay, you can finally win here and give it to War Story. So I feel like War Story at least is going to show up. It's just a matter of if he's good enough. He might be a horse that just always finishes second or third, no matter who he's up against. Mine with you was I almost did pull the trigger with Multiplier for several reasons. And I'm like, I can't get there with any of these other ones.
No,
I definitely. You should just walk me out of this room and just do the podcast on your own. If I pick Mr. Money,
I was on him for a split second.
Or if I pick Math Wizard, who by the way is a favorite. Like I cannot see myself picking Math Wizard in this race.
The problem with Math Wizard is he ran a really good race last time out, so I think you have to use him. But
he could definitely win.
Yeah, but you just can't.
I feel sick picking him.
Yeah.
I mean. Tenfold, like this would be a race tenfold. Like if he wins, just forget it.
I'm just turning it off. He's so terrible.
Honestly, play War Story, play Multiplier.
I almost picked Sleepy Eyes Todd. I damn near did.
Anytime a horse is named and has the word sleepy in it, I don't feel like that's always the greatest of signs. But okay, we're gonna start with the worst and go to the better races after this. So I'm on War Story. You've got Multiplier.
Yeah. War Story is another one I bet you've probably never picked or maybe once in his whole career.
I was going to say, if I've picked him, it hasn't been many times, maybe once or twice. But, since Navarro, he's actually still pretty good.
Yeah, so. Yeah, he's really something. He's a cool horse. Charlestown, 4th time he's running the Charlestown Classic. He's finished 3rd, 2nd, 3rd.
Yep. So he does well.
Mm-hmm. All right, where are we going now?
We are doing the Lake George.
Okay.
We'll go to a little better track. We'll go to Saratoga.
Yeah, Saratoga they call Charlestown the Saratoga of West Virginia.
I've heard that, yeah.
Good Lord.
All right. Lake George. Not a bad little race. Got Sweet Melania at 8-5. I don't know. I tried to beat her, but
I couldn't.
I was not successful at it. So
no, I really like her.
I think she's pretty good.
Yeah.
All right. Three, two, one. All right, now let's go to Saratoga on Friday, race 9. The Lake George Stakes, a grade 3 with 100K for fillies. 3-year-olds going 1 mile on the turf. A field of 10 lines up for this one. But it's led by the very strong favorite, 8-5 morning line, number 1, Sweet Melania for Todd Pletcher. This horse has been really good. Not done much wrong in her career, frankly. And probably deserving favorite. Charles Rail is a speedy horse.
Mm-hmm.
Probably will go straight to the lead, and then they'll have to catch her. So do you think they will?
I don't think they're going to. No, I like Sweet Melania here. I'm a lot more confident in Sweet Melania than I was in the Charlestown pick for sure. I think this is a really nice horse, and I think the only way she gets beat here is if she gets into a speed duel, and I kind of just think she's faster than the rest of these. So I'm looking for her to go wire to wire here.
Yeah, I like I do a lot of times with these races. If it's a strong favorite, I go into the race saying, okay, how do I beat her? What's the way that she gets beat here? And there's really not a lot of ways. You draw the rail, so she's going to go. She obviously has a lot of speed. This horse, the last time she lost was in the Breeders' Cup, and that was to Sharing, and really she ran well that day, just got beat. She likes this distance. She likes Saratoga. So there's not a lot to not like. I thought about playing the 2 Michelin. I think she might be a nice little horse. Gets Rosario. I think that move's going to help a little bit with her coming late, because I do think there is some speed in the race, but I just feel like ultimately I just felt like number 1, Sweet Melania, was the speed of speed.
Yep. And
she's just frankly too classy for these horses. So number 1, Sweet Melania. It was pretty easy to do.
Yeah, I that race, if you don't pick her, you could go a lot of different ways.
Well, that's ultimately what I kept doing. I was trying to beat her, and then I was trying to come up with all these different angles to get her beat, and then I'm sitting there thinking, why though? I'm trying to come up with ways, and when she's she's obviously very good. So
we often say don't invent ways. Like if you can beat a favorite, beat it, but don't make up ways in your mind. Not to say she's unbeatable, she's not. But
right, go to Del Mar for the Pat O'Brien.
Okay, this race sucks too.
You love your pick though?
No. I hate this race.
So this is the Breeders' Cup winner in for the Big Ass Fans Dirt Mile. And got to think none of these will be much of a shot in that race, but we'll see.
I mean, I saw Giant Expectations. It's like, is that horse like 25 years old? He's ran in the Pat O'Brien 37 times, I feel like. Anyway, Dennis is drunk.
Dennis, you're just racking up the comments too, and you are.
Look at Dennis, he's trash.
You're trash, my son.
Look at Dennis. There you go. Okay.
Look at this.
That's the shit we're getting. You don't know what he's talking about.
I'm too drunk to care. If I had $1 for every time I said that.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
All right.
3, 2, 1. All right, let's go to Del Mar on Saturday. We'll move to Saturday. Del Mar, race 10. It's the Grade 2 Pat O'Brien Stakes. It's worth $150K for 3-year-olds and up, going 7 furlongs. And it is a Breeders' Cup winning your event for the Big Ass Fans Dirt Mile. Field of 8 lines up for this one, led by your 5-2 morning line favorite, number 4, Flagstaff. 7-2 on Giant Expectations. 4-1 on CZ Rocket and Vertical Threat, 8-1. 5-1 on Law Abiding Citizen. I mean, it's kind of all over the place, but 5-2 on Flagstaff. Now, listen, I like this horse.
Yeah.
I don't like 5-2.
There was a time he would have jumped on 5-2, but before he was been so damn disappointing, after that Oakland race. That's the thing. A lot of people are like, he should have won at Oakland, and he was terrible in Triple Bin. But anyway, I went with CZ Rocket. This horse is magically turned into a different horse under trainer Peter Miller. I don't know how he does it. What a horseman. But since he claimed the horse, he's won 3 in a row. He's done it fairly easily each time. And anyway, I think he makes it 4 in a row here. I think CZ Rocket is the one.
Yeah, it's just amazing. This horse likes
the turnaround of the century,
getting smoked in these allowance races, mind you.
Yeah,
and then just the same race this horse basically lost by 15 lengths. He's winning for fun.
Right. Well, he claimed him for $40,000 at Oakland out of a $40,000 claimer, obviously, where he was 5th, beating 3, and Lionite, who's not that great, was the winner of that race. He comes back and he wins a $50K claimer by 4, and then he wins an allowance by 4, and then he wins an allowance by 3/4. and getting like crazy speed figures compared to his last few.
Yeah.
So
it's like, dude,
yeah.
you might want to back off of it just a little. It's a little telling at the moment.
Well, and he claimed from Al Stahl, who's not a bad trainer. So, if he claimed from some idiot, maybe okay, I see it. But yeah, anyway.
All right, so listen, our job here is to try to pick who we think is going to win, not the odds. Obviously, playing this horse at 5-2 is not a. I'm gonna play. I think Flagstaff is gonna bounce back.
You're picking him?
I'm picking Flagstaff.
Oh man!
Listen, if it helps any, I did talk to Magic about this because I said, dude, talk me off of this horse. I said, why do I keep going back to Flagstaff? He's like, hey, I get it. That's why. I'm not singling CZ Rocket because I feel like you have to play Flagstaff.
I agree with that. Yeah.
And I almost played CZ Rocket for the reasons you listed. I also liked me and Magic kind of talked about we liked the one a little bit too, Law Abiding Citizen. So those are the three I like. But Flagstaff, I just feel like obviously the Count Fleet was awesome. Ran a huge race that day. He didn't necessarily regress as much as you would think in the Triple Bend. He just wasn't great. He didn't have that same kick as he normally would, but gets to Del Mar where he likes this distance. And that day he finished 2nd3/4 to McKenzie. It wasn't like it was, he got beat by trash. But yeah, I think Flagstaff bounces back here. Plus he gets a little speed to run into. So I expect to bounce back, but man, 5-2 is tough. So he's what I'm picking to win, but just watch the price.
I'm with you on that one.
The one I almost picked to win.
Yeah, I did too. All right, Saratoga. Yeah,
Saratoga.
Dennis is struggling. He's struggling. What are you drinking tonight, Dennis?
Yeah, what are you drinking?
Yeah.
You got any more? Let's go to the Forgo. The Forgo and the Sword Dancer. Two pretty good races here.
Boy, I got to decide who I'm picking real quick. Forgo. Just kidding. I'm kidding. Sort of. This race. I hate this race.
Do you like any races this weekend?
Not really. I do like the Sword Dancer.
The Sword Dancer is good.
Yeah. My boy's in the Sword Dancer.
Oh, who's your boy? Oh, I know your boy is.
Yeah.
I think in the Forgo, obviously with Whitmore and who I'm going to try to beat.
Me too.
I think trying to beat Whitmore here makes a lot of sense just because he is one of those horses that you can count on to run a good race, but every once in a while, especially after he runs against some really good horses, he throws in some clunkers. So I think he, that last one was kind of a fiasco too with him popping out the gate, and I think this could be a race that he seemingly would fit. That
you're rooting for Whitmore. Whitmore's won this race in the past. But
yeah.
Tequila. Oh my gosh, Dennis.
Started at 6:30, so I've been doing back to back to back. All right.
No wonder.
That's my boy, Dennis. Are you the question becomes, are you drinking alone?
I hope not.
Are you drinking alone, Dennis? Because do you need help?
That would be a little sad.
All right.
Oh man. I can't wait to hear the answer. All right, the Forgo, that's what we're doing?
The Forgo.
Oh, boy. What a race this is, folks. All right, I'm ready. I'm going to go to an old friend of yours in this one.
Oh, you decided to do that one?
Yeah.
I don't hate it.
Good. It's good.
Sorry.
Oh.
All right.
Come on, Dennis.
3, 2, 1. All right, let's go to Saratoga on Saturday. Race 8, the Forgo Stakes. It's a grade 1 with $300K for 4-year-olds and up, going 7 furlongs. Field of 11 lines up for this one, led by kind of your sophomore line favorite at 7-2, number 2, Whitmore. Obviously, needs no introduction with this one. Very classy horse. 9-2 on Funny Guy. You got 4-1 on Complexity, 8-1 on Friends Fire. 6-1 on Mind Control, 6-1 on Fortin Hill, my old boy Fortin Hill. Win, 12-1. Kind of random, kind of mishmash. Lexingtonian, the horse is not too bad at 10-1. It's really, it's kind of like, okay, if you're playing against Whitmore, if you make that decision, because obviously he's the class of the field, if you're going to play against him, then it becomes a little bit more dicey on who you're going to use to beat him.
Yeah, that's going to be the key, and I am going to go against Whitmore, even though I'm kind of rooting for him. I'm going to go with an old friend of yours, number 11, Fortin Hill. I'm going to put him on top here. I really like the price of 6-1. I really like that Irad stays aboard after winning last time out in an allowance race. I just think there's a lot more to this horse, and we're finally getting to see it. He's finally healthy. He's not taking, years off between starts.
Yeah, no shit.
So I feel really good about it. And like I said, I thought he ran exceptionally well last time out at this distance at Belmont Park, winning that allowance. So, yeah, I kind of think it's going to be Fortin Hill's day. I'm going to put him on top.
Yeah, my old boy on my fantasy team. Do I get points if he wins?
I told you get 1 point if he wins.
Okay.
Mythical point.
No, I want the 1 point. This day and age, with my team, I'll take any point. I'm just happy when I have a starter. That means I get a point,
right?
Which does not happen often. No, I really like this horse. I think if he would have not drawn outside the 11 post, I would have maybe pulled the trigger on him, because I do feel like his upside is there. Obviously, the fact that he gets Irad to stay put. And I think you're right. And that's kind of one of the big reasons why I had him on my team. There was a ton of hype with this horse all along, and it just obviously never could kind of come together for the horse. And like you say, is finally seemingly healthy. Look at that. He comes off the, basically second start off the layoff, and there's even a layoff in itself, and runs a 101 buyer.
Yeah.
So he ran a big race. I was like, okay, I'm going to play him. I like complexity quite a bit here as well. The 2 Chad Browns. But then I was like, you know what? You talked about this earlier, not inventing reasons to get beat or to beat a horse. And I ultimately just kind of kept falling back to a horse that I never really thought I would pick, and that's number 4, Funny Guy. It's hard to knock what this horse is doing, New York bred or not. Rosario stays put, which I think is a huge sign, and rides him for the 3rd straight time. And by the way, he won on the last 2 times with him. He won last time out at Saratoga, ran a nice race. This horse ran a 101 buyer, and then followed that up with a 98 under wraps, by the way. I mean, this horse is running lights out right now for Terra Nova. It's a Terra Nova Rosario angle, which is not too bad, really. And then I just think that you kind of look at the way the horse is coming into the race, whereas you're trying to play these other horses, say, well, this horse is upside, this horse is this, whereas this horse is already running really well.
Yeah.
Like Saratoga, is 2 for 2 at Saratoga, has a win in a second at this distance, so you're going to get it. It's just a matter of class, really, frankly. Mm-hmm. And really, for the way you look at the numbers, I just don't see a way that he's not going to at least match up with these horses. Should set the trick. So on number 4, Funny Guy.
Yeah, Funny Guy, Oklahoma Derby participant. So
I know it's like he just has really turned into a nice horse. The last couple races, he looked really good.
Definitely. I like Funny Guy. I think he's a use.
I think you have to play him.
Yeah. Sorry. Oh, Mama. What's up?
Oh, Mom. Hey, Dennis, my mom is probably drinking too, if that makes you feel
better. So you're definitely not alone, Dennis. That's funny. Oh,
boy, Mom. Your mom made an appearance once on the show, and now I got mine. There we go. Yeah. All right, let's go to the Sword Dancer.
Funny story about my mom real quick. I talked to her on the phone Monday, and she said, hey, I saw you in Magic on Facebook yesterday. I said, you mean Saturday? No, I was watching it Sunday afternoon. She thought we were live, but she saw like an old show and she was watching it.
She's like, hey.
Yeah. Sure, maybe she was commenting on it. Wonder why they're not talking back. Yeah, she was watching it on Sunday as we were talking about those Del Mar races. So,
I love her, right?
That's pretty damn funny. Yeah. You and Magic did well, so thanks.
See, people think we're just always doing these live shows all the time, and we really don't have to because.
Oh man, I died laughing at that. That was good stuff. Good stuff.
All right. 3, 2, 1. And finally, race 9 at Saratoga, the Sword Dancer Stakes grade 1 with $500K for 4-year-olds and up when 1 and 1.5 miles on the turf. It's a Breeders' Cup winner in event for the Longines Turf. Field of 8 lines up for this one. This one will be a fun race to watch. 3-1 on cross border. Outside horse, Savage Joy 5-2. Those are your 2 horses that are going to take the most money. Aquaphobia at 4-1. Again, it's one of those races that it's not, Savage Joy isn't quite a Whitmore, but he does have that class angle, and a horse that quote unquote won last time out, got DQ'd off of that win.
Right.
But it's coming in off a win, which by the way does not bode well for him. This horse does not run well after he wins a race.
Or ever.
Or ever. I know he's your favorite. I hope you pick him.
I hate him.
But draws the outside here. So it's one of those things, if you try to beat him, who are you going to beat him with?
Oh, I always try to beat him. I loathe that horse. I love it so much.
You rooted for the DQ.
Oh, yeah, well, I did because I had cross border on top. I picked cross border. So take him down. That DQ worked out really well. And, maybe it was deserved, maybe not. It's got a 50-50 call. Listen, I'm not dealing with any of that trash. I'm going to my boy, my guy. 10-1 winner last time out, top pick in the United Nations. Aquaphobia. That's my boy. I'm going with him again. Mike Maker is great with marathon turfers. Listen, gets IRAD to ride today. I think that's great. I'm going with my boy Aquaphobia. We're not getting 10-1 on him here, but I think he turns right around and wins. I think he's better than these horses. Listen, I'm not afraid of anybody in this race.
You shouldn't be. I think that's a great angle. 10-1 is ridiculous. You're not going to get that, but 4-1 even you may not get. Back-to-back bullets too. This horse is working really well.
I think he's listen real quick. Just one more thing. I think he's really coming on. I think he is getting better and better throughout the year. Go ahead.
No, I think that's a good pick. Again, that's kind of my point. Is if you're going to play against Sadler's Joy, which he has established he's going to. It's a matter of who you're going to use. I was between playing cross border, which I thought you might go with here.
I almost did, yeah,
because I thought that race last time out was pretty impressive. But I ended up going with kind of a new shooter, and I am going to take a 10-1 shot in the race. And that's number 7, Pedro Cara, for Grand Motion, gets John Velasquez to ride. Listen, if that name sort of sounds familiar to you, that's because this horse did run here almost a year ago in the Jock Club Derby, which finished second to Spanish Mission, and just unbelievable. It was one of those back and forth, just came down to the wire, just lost by nostril, came back and won the Qatar Derby from that race, and then finished third the next time out in a Group 1. This was a pretty damn good horse. Mm-hmm. Comes back, gets Grand Motion, obviously, to train here, or at least put his name on the paper that he trains. Listen, I think this horse he's got the class. He obviously has ran well, overseas, shipped and ran well overseas. And he's a new shooter. So in a field that I'm not, like you said, I'm not afraid of any of these. At 10-1, give me the horse that's going to be closing late. And by the way, I think it is definitely worth mentioning here, and we should have mentioned it in the last race, decent to good chance of rain Saturday at Saratoga. So keep that in mind when you're handicapping these. This is a horse, obviously, when he ran over here, which worked out perfectly, ran on a good turf course. Obviously, being an international horse is very well familiar with those. So I think the soft, any kind of turf yielding or whatever surface you get, that won't be an issue for him. Just like in the last race, I think it's important to kind of look at who's running. Funny Guy is a horse that has ran well in muddy and sloppy conditions. So I think that's important as an angle when you look at these. But so I think Pedro Cara will like the surface. I think you get the price, you get Grand Motion, you get John Velasquez. I think you're going to see at least a decent effort here, enough to beat this group. So I'm a number 7, Pedro Cara at a price.
Yeah, that's a definite use for sure.
You have to.
Yeah, 10-1. I'm surely he won't be 10-1, right?
Just depends.
You're right. There's horses like Sadler's Joy always takes money.
I just don't know if that race is the only thing for me is I just don't know if that race is enough to for people to remember and be like, oh yeah, that race was so good.
Yeah, he was 38-1 that day too.
He was a big price.
So
and he beat a comeback. He beat a comeback winner in the Qatar Derby, and won pretty easily that day, going a mile and a quarter. And then in the mile and a half race, finished third to French King in standard deviation, different standard deviation.
Yeah, this is a Group 1 race over there, though. Is that?
As a Group 1 race, obviously this horse is pretty decent. So I think coming over here, and I think also you have to just keep in mind the fact that the horse has done it before. So that gives you some confidence that the horse is going to be able to run well and ship well and whatever when it comes to this. Take a shot, 10-1. So
for sure.
All right. Let's see. Don't pay for this. So much it says the winning. Don't pay for that. That wraps it up. So let's do the closing here. And again, if you got questions, comments, hit us up or close this bad boy off. Yeah, Mom. I don't know if Mom's still in here, but
yeah, she said, "Hey, watch it."
yeah,
I don't know what I wasn't talking about you. I was talking about my mom.
Yeah, just moms in general.
No.
Yeah,
no.
He's saying you guys are incapable of understanding technology. I think.
I'm saying that my mom was watching a show that was live on Saturday on Sunday and thought it was live. So that's all I'm saying.
It's facts. That's all it is.
Exactly.
All right, 3, 2, 1. So tell me, check out racingnews.com for our free picks and our premium selections on our Hankout products page. Click the products link at the main menu at racingnews.com to learn more. Make sure to check out our all-inclusive wagering guide to the 2020 Kentucky Derby at Churchill Downs. This thing is going to be massive. Great time to become a subscriber right now with the Derby, Preakness, and Breeders' Cup all coming up. We're currently covering 30-plus tracks, all offering free picks from our Twitter at RaceNews, Instagram, and Facebook. Listen to us on SoundCloud, iTunes, Google Play Music, Stitcher, your website at racingnews.com. The Magic Mike Show. Go check them out. They did their podcast earlier today, Thursday. And then late pick 4 at Del Mar. They are so scared of the rain at Saratoga, they just went ahead and went off the turf there, and they ran to Del Mar.
Handicappers get so bent out of shape about weather.
Well, they did.
Somich, anytime it's a 5% chance, he's I can't do that. It'll be off the turf for sure. It's there's one cloud in the sky. Oh, they'll be off.
I see a rain cloud. So it might be coming.
And really, some people were freaking out today, and because they should have taken the races off, but it's like they've been raining off the turf like twice all year.
The one tricky thing about Saratoga in the summer, well, obviously, is that it can be a nice day and a pop-up shower will come up and just drench that place.
Yep.
And literally everything you've learned that day is out the window.
Yeah.
It'll change the course on both surfaces completely.
The one day I can remember was I think it was the last time we were there. It was Thursday, and it was like 80 degrees, not a cloud in the sky. Shower comes up, they cancel the rest of the day. It rained so hard for so long. That place was like flooded.
That was the day I came in, I think.
That's right. Yeah.
You guys had gotten rained out.
Yep.
That was me. I was just wishing it would cancel since I wasn't there. I was thinking about this today, how sad it is that we aren't there still. Like it's just one of those things that I think about it all the time. It's
awful. It's the worst. This has been the worst Saratoga meet of my life by far. And it has nothing to do with the racing.
It doesn't matter what happens on that. It's just the fact that no one's there.
It sucks.
It's
in Del Mar, dude.
I know.
It's the same. I mean, we would go to each one.
I mean, we literally haven't been anywhere since the Pegasus.
Nope.
And that, in a way, that feels like yesterday, and another way, it feels like it was like 4 years ago.
Yeah. We went to the Pegasus. I went to opening day at Will Rogers, and that's it.
Yeah, you did. Remember, you did the live tweeting.
Yeah, that was pretty popular.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget opening day at Will Rogers is when Keeneland canceled their spring meet. And so the whole time I was driving home going, I probably won't have a job by Wednesday.
Yeah.
It was Monday. So
yeah, we were in full panic mode of what tracks are canceling at when, and just a matter of time before they all do. And
thankfully, a few of them had balls and stayed open. Right?
Yeah, and then and some have already backed up and said, "Hey, we're gonna increase the purses and
that's right. Yeah,
come back next year. We'll have all the fans." Yep. So
you can read all about Oaklawn Park, and it's reopening. And David Hill's book, The Vapors.
Is he paying us for this?
Yeah, he should be.
Shit,
right?
man. He probably sold 3 copies already.
Sure.
Get a cut off that or something.
Yeah.
So next week again, we'll be back. Of course, Derby. All Derby talk. Really, from the moment they end on Sunday, it becomes a Derby week, and shit hits the fan. The draw will be one of the most anticipated draws in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
When you're talking about the magnitude of having shitty horses in with these great horses, or at least one great horse, and where he goes, and where these shittier where the Woodbine horse goes, and where Tiz the Law goes, that would be. That's gonna be interesting. But no, so big week next week. Stay tuned. Obviously, we'll have a ton of content on the site, racingnews.com. Check that out. I'm Jared Welch. He's Aaron Alterman. Good luck this weekend.
All right. If you got any questions now that we're done with the pod, just let us know. And if not, we'll get off here. We'll give you some time if you got anything going. I'm going to turn on Charlestown too, Dennis. I'm going to watch old Bump Bailey here.
1-5.
Yep. He should win by a pole.
Now here's some good television here. Watch us watch Charlestown. We won't won't talk at all.
Yeah, no. Yeah.
We're just gonna watch.
Yeah.
And you guys can enjoy. Okay.
Geez, they're in the damn paddock and there's 0 minutes. What are they doing? Not freaking Gulfstream time now? Ridiculous. Let's see who won Hastings race 7. The 2 won Hastings race 7. I hate Hastings is probably my least favorite track to watch. Let's see what else is going on. Retama, the 3 won the 7th race of Retama. I don't like Retama either. All right, we'll go back to the Charlestown feed. So yeah, Bump Bailey 1 to 5, 4 to 5 morning line.
Dennis, you're gonna feel good tomorrow.
Dennis is gonna feel like shit tomorrow. There's no doubt. I can't believe they're still. I'm not gonna sit here and watch this. I'll come back when they're actually on the track. That's crazy. There's 4 tracks running right now: Hastings, Retama, Charlestown, and Emerald Downs. So those are your 4. Tomorrow, Remington Park. Maybe I should go on live for a Remington Park show tomorrow.
Maybe you should go to Remington Park.
I'm thinking, we're swamped with Derby. I think once the Kentucky Derby's over, I'm going to go to Remington.
Yeah, we were going to go to, what did we say? We were going to go
Oklahoma
to
Derby.
the Oklahoma Derby, and we'll go to the Springboard, obviously. But the Oklahoma Derby sounds like a perfect opportunity to get the hell to the track.
I think that's the 27th, Sunday the 27th. Oklahoma Derby, yeah.
And will we have football being played that day?
You will have NFL being
Will
played. Yes.
For sure?
100%.
Okay.
1,000%.
Okay.
2,000%.
We better.
College, I think 50-50.
College might be playing on Sunday. You never know.
Yeah. OU has a game on the 26th, supposedly, against Kansas State. So
Are they still playing the Missouri State game?
they are playing the Missouri State game. That is the 12th. September 12th.
Are you going?
Well, they're only going to allow like 25,000 people. So I don't know. The season ticket holders all got emails saying if you're interested, go. But at OU, there's like 70,000 season ticket holders. So they can't accommodate us all. So I really have no idea.
I looked up last night. I was looking up. I was thinking about going to the. I have been for a while, but I was like, let's see what the prices are for the home opener, the Chiefs home opener, Thursday night football. Obviously, defending Super Bowl champions. So the seats I normally sit in down low, level 1, were running about $800 a ticket. $800 a ticket.
Now they're not selling. What are they selling? 25% capacity.
I believe it's 16,000 is what they're limiting it to.
Okay.
Something like that.
Yeah.
And it holds 70-some thousand, 75,000, whatever. So
I thought they'd be higher than that if they're just selling 15, 16,000 tickets.
up high, where they're normally for a home opener you might spend $50 or so.
Yeah.
$70. Yeah, they're running about $350. So
yeah.
I mean, they're just jacked to the roof. But
yeah.
And it's this thing too. It's like if you do go, you're gonna get the experience is nothing like it normally is. You're 16,000 people there. I mean, come on. So it's gonna be weird all around.
It's gonna be if I'm able to go to a game, it's gonna be weird and it's gonna be cool at the same time because it's like you're actually gonna be able to spread out and kind of maybe enjoy the game a little more, but the atmosphere is gonna suck.
Yeah, the atmosphere will be dead.
Yeah. It's gonna be a weird. Well, hell, right now we don't have any sports again. I guess we have baseball. Some of them are playing.
Guess basketball's back, maybe, right?
Basketball back Friday. Yeah. Or Saturday. Hockey's back Saturday. So yeah, it's kind of a weird time. By the way, horse racing, they didn't protest. The horses were fine. They didn't care.
What are they doing at Charlestown, by the way?
They were just walking around in a circle at Charlestown.
This is why I don't watch Charlestown, because they're just.
I've never seen them do this. I watch it every night. It's like when it's 0 minutes to post, they're on the track. I don't know what's going on. Maybe there's some kind of maybe this is the protest for the horses.
Walk in circles for 2 hours.
Bump Bailey said, I'm not gonna run. I watch AEW, All Elite Wrestling, and they had fans for the first time, and let me say the atmosphere wasn't dead. Okay, Dennis, we're talking about an 85,000 seat stadium that's going to have 16,000 people. We're not saying it's going to be dead. We're going to say it's going to be different. The atmosphere is not even going to be close to the same.
What is AEW?
AEW is like it's like a competitor of WWE now. I've never watched it, but
got it.
I do. I used to be a huge wrestling guy, so I'm not saying I keep up with it. I don't know who these people are, but I do know that league that started. So there's that.
So you can't get XFL to run, but you can get another wrestling organization to run. That's odd.
Well, I think the XFL was doing okay until this happened, though. You know, I don't think they were.
Didn't you see? Was there some?
Girl?
That's my sister, everybody.
Yeah.
It's a whole family affair tonight.
It's a family affair tonight.
Let's call your mom. Get her in here.
I think the world can't handle your sister, your mom, and my mom in the same. They're going to the track at Charlestown, guys.
Taylor, have you been handicapping the races tonight? Do you know who you like in this race?
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that it? I mean,
are
we going to stay and watch
this race? I don't know.
Let's stay and let's watch Charlestown, and then let's get off.
Somehow you people are still hanging on here. We got 10 people. It's been staying steady. So whatever reason you guys want to sit here and listen to us talk about bullshit.
By the way, if you're just tuning in, this isn't the actual show. The show's over. We're just dicking around now.
Yeah, you missed the show.
Yeah.
So the show, as soon as we're done dicking around here, as he said, I will edit the pod that you just listened to so it sounds nice and pretty, and then add the sound clips and stuff that you guys listen to the actual show after the fact you're well aware of, and then it'll be pushed out later tonight, and it'll be available in the iTunes store everywhere to listen to. So,
yep.
One thing we're missing this year is the annual John White interview.
Yeah, he got canceled because of COVID. So it's just one of those
ruined everything.
Yeah. Now John's doing well though. We talk to him often. He was worried about his Lakers losing to the Blazers very badly, but that was false worries. Lakers look like they're going to win that pretty easy. Oklahoma City.
Yeah,
you think they can win?
I don't think they can win.
I don't either.
But the fact that they've tied that series up is kind of blowing my mind, actually.
So they played pretty awesome. Game 4, they were down 13 late third quarter and came back and won. It was.
I like that team because they don't have that star power, really, other than Chris Paul, I guess. But they just play hard, and against like a Houston, who obviously has got loaded with stars. They don't give a shit, they just play. So
I love them. I love them. Good. Been a fun year. They're going to get beat, but it's been a fun year. See that? 6.5 furlongs, one full run around this bull ring track here at Charlestown.
That's pretty good graphics for Charlestown. I'm not going to lie.
Hey, they have a very good system. Yeah.
A little preview to the Charlestown
That's right. Yeah,
Classic tomorrow night.
Yeah, tune in tomorrow night. Actually, going to be some really good racing. I love small tracks with big time. Well, for them racing, so that's going to be fun. Little Menace. I should have mentioned him on the actual show. Little Menace is running at Charlestown. Going to try to give me 5 points.
What is that race he's running in? Some kind of
it's a
bullshit race.
A 7 furlong race for 3-year-olds. Hey, I said earlier in the mess of post, I am working security. Derby, I'm worried out of my. Why are you? Hold on. What are you talking about? Why are you worried?
I'm worried. He's the protesters. I'm in the greenhouse outside of the track. If I get raided and I die, remember me for loving horses.
Why are you worried? I don't get it. What's going on?
All the protesters outside.
They left, I thought. Right?
They're coming back on Derby Day.
Oh, they're coming back on Derby Day.
That's the whole plan.
And
right?
Dennis is the one in charge of keeping them out?
No, I don't know. If that's the case, then they're coming in.
We're fucked if that's the case.
Dennis, what are you doing?
What kind of
security are you doing?
Dennis, this is bad. This is really bad news, dude.
I think that honestly, I was wondering about that the other day. Like, if this was like a normal year and fans would be there, I don't know what they would have done, because I don't think it's much of an issue, because obviously no one's going to be going into the track for the most part. Mm-hmm. So you can just, as long as you keep them out, that's fine. But if a normal year, obviously it's a madhouse outside of that place. Oh, yeah. It would have been tough for security, for people to want to go. It sounds like they're targeting, I don't know what the plan is and why. What they have against the Derby, but...
I think it's just because it's a big event.
Yeah, I think it's going to catch a lot of attention for sure. But yeah. So what are you doing, Dennis?
Yeah, tell us your job description.
Because if you are in charge of keeping them out,
we're fucked.
I don't like our chances.
No, I've never met you, but
Tinslaw all of a sudden became a toss. He's not gonna win.
You know,
if you're in charge of security.
Wouldn't that be horrible if something happened like that?
I'm not in charge of keeping them out.
Yeah,
I'm just outside of the plant.
Outside the plants.
Doing what?
Keeping them out. Yeah, what are you doing?
What's your job?
Yeah. I get that you're out. Yeah, I get that. But what is your function? Like, what's your purpose for being there?
To drink tequila while you're
in the garden or whatever you're talking. Greenhouse.
What the hell's a greenhouse?
I don't know what he's talking about.
The greenhouse outside of Churchill Downs. What?
I don't know.
Boy.
Is it on the backside, Dennis? Or is it on the? I'm trying to. I don't.
We're asking someone who's about 12 tequilas deep though right now.
This is hilarious. We have 10 people watching. Dennis is drunk, and we're asking him about stuff that he doesn't even know what he's talking about. We're watching Charlestown.
Actually, the numbers keep going up. So people are like tuning in like, oh, the racing news are still live. They'll check it out, and then they're listening like, oh shit, what am I watching?
This is awful.
You're talking about Charlestown. Who is this 1-5 shot anyways?
Bump Bailey. He's coming from Churchill Downs, dropping to Charlestown, dropping way down. So the source will win by 12 or will probably, how and I say this politically correctly, not finish the race. So that's what's going to happen here. So we got a lot going on. Charlestown, race number 8, the 9's 1-5. Are you going to take him or are you going to try to beat him here?
What did you do?
I took him.
Took him?
Yeah. I don't think he'll break down. I think he'll win. We're loading in the gate. Got a couple more to go here.
A big purse here of $12,000.
Yeah.
That is quite the fall from Churchill Downs.
Yeah.
Bump Bailey, what do you do from here? Do you go from church, you go for here, then you go, is this a prep for the Breeders' Cup?
Come on, you got to explain better than that. All right. Yeah. They're going to run him in the Classic tomorrow, I think.
Yeah.
Shit. They're in the gate. Come on, Bump. One time. Who's sitting here rooting for this?
He ain't hitting him. He hitting him.
They're acting up. 7 and 8 are acting up. My goodness. Open the gates. Here they go. Right to the front.
Just like that, the longest post-parade in horse racing history has ended.
Yeah. Bump
Bailey going to go gate to wire here, it looks like.
Unless Kim's Pet, the 4-horse, gives him trouble here. I don't think it's going to happen. Yeah, he's cleared already. It's a greenhouse. I am in charge of seeing who goes in and out of the greenhouse. It's just off of Longfield Ave. So I'm not inside of the track, so that's not. Dennis, I think you'll be fine. Nobody's going to raid the greenhouse. That's not on their list. I still don't understand why you have to know who's going in and out of that greenhouse. I'm so confused.
Eddie Dirt is giving Bump Bailey some trouble here.
Yeah, man. Joe's brother.
He's coming after Joe's brother. Eddie is flying.
He's going to try.
But Bump says, "Forget you, man."
But did he soften Bump up? Let's see now. Bump's up 2. He's up 3. The 10 is going to compromise.
Eddie Dirt's going to go eat some dirt, I think, right now. He's done.
All right, Bump. Let's see if he's well, they might catch him. Here comes his 2.
Uh-oh.
A fix. Here comes the 5. Carter's run. They ate him up. Oh, Carter's run. Big upset. 11-1.
Whoa.
I'm sorry. 14-1. Wow. 14-1 upset in the final.
Bump Bailey just wasn't. What? That's tough.
Bump Bailey goes down at 1-9.
All right, congratulations, all of you. Let's end this damn thing.
Yep.
Thank you.
It's over.
Thank everyone for tuning in, and sorry, you guys, if you weren't interested, had to tune into that, hoping that we talk about something important because we didn't. But you need to learn about the greenhouse at Churchill Downs from Dennis. So thank you all for tuning in.
Good luck, Dennis.
And we'll see y'all next week.